We have just gotten a bunch of transformations from the remake, reboot, season 9, whatever you want to call it. I have gotten all of your messages, okay? So I'm here to talk about it. Quick note, subscribe to my gaming channel. I have a Sims 3 Winx Let's Play that's going on right now, with some characters behaving very accurately to the canon and some being absolutely unhinged. We are going to start with Flora, and we're gonna basically go in the same sequence as the way that they've been released. I'm not that big of a fan of this song, but I do want to say that I'm usually not that big of a fan of most songs in kids shows. Usually I feel like this song is nothing special, just it's okay. It's very much outdated, like 2016 music. It's not bad, but it's definitely not innovative or forward thinking, so I would say that it's just kind of like it's there, you know. Flora's transformation, there are a few things that I really like about this. It's the fact that they have used a lot of things that usually work really well for magical girl show transformations. They have acrobatic work. There's one thing there was always this baddie energy about Winx that I enjoyed as a kid, because it kind of made it stand out quite a bit, just because it's not that common to have a show that actually has older girls as protagonists. Usually, as for example the case with Witch, they're literally 12. That's like a whole other conversation. When it comes to Winx, what I really enjoyed about them back then was that they were always kind of aspirational. They were older, they were kind of going to college rather than high school. You know, like Barbie, for example, was always aspirational. She was always older, like she had jobs and other things like that, you know, to compare to where you're basically following a bunch of 10-year-olds, for example, on their adventures or whatever. And I always preferred, as a child, I always preferred shows that were about older characters. In the case of Flora, she's not really childish here, but there's definitely a problem with what I call American theater kid mannerisms movement that's very, very popular and common for Americans to see around themselves and to have, and it's very much not normal for a European to see. I think that it's probably spreading now because of American soft power. There's a lot of media that's, you know, all over the globe, and people are picking up behavior from media. But the best way I can describe what I mean is most animation, most contemporary animation has that issue as well. It's basically Ethan Slater core.
Just has handled it with such love and care. I don't know, it's just...
This is not a dig at Ethan in particular or Ariana, but Ariana also has these kinds of mannerisms. Italians, you guys, like, do your thing, okay? This is an Italian property, okay? I need you to keep it European, because it's impossible that it's like every single animation that even comes out of Europe nowadays has this mannerisms. Can we have at least some animation that doesn't have this facial movements that just don't make sense? Please leave your theories down below, but I know that we're gonna have more of those in these transformations because I've already seen them. I am gonna say that I really enjoy that there's a lot of things going on in the background. It's not just empty space, but this is probably the first time that Winx are jumping out at me more than with Flora, because with Flora, I mean, they're okay, but they're just like not that attention grabbing. Tecna doesn't have that much of an issue with those like facial expressions that are copy paste, but I do think that with voiceover, I'm really curious as to how they're voicing it over, what they're doing, because I'm gonna be real with you, it does not sound great. It doesn't sound natural per se. The transformation, there are a few things I really enjoy, like for example, light up portions of the outfit. I don't love that it's not as unique as the original, but at the same time I think it would be better for the character in a sense of getting more fans that are kids, because I think that a lot of people grow up to appreciate Tecna's design and like they realize how innovative and how cool it is later on. I just remember that a lot of kids that I grew up with didn't like her Magic Winx outfit. I remember that I didn't really feel negatively about it. I thought it was quite unique, but I also didn't love the helmet. Now as an adult, I understand why they were going for all of those really eccentric ideas. It is very futuristic. It is very much trying something that is creating something unique, you know? So I did enjoy that. I find it a little strange that they don't have the usual sparkle on their outfits anymore. They only have it when they're in their like bodices, or what would you even call that, like kind of like an undergarment type of deal. But the outfit looks very much athleisure inspired to me. It's not really like the worst thing in the world, to be honest, but I think that Tecna is difficult to create in terms of having a unique outfit that would not make her kind of disliked by little children, because she doesn't deserve that. I feel like the outfit was amazing, the original one, but I understand why they would tone it down, kind of making her more viable as an option as being assigned a Winx. You know how like when you were a kid playing together with other kids, you would pick or you would be assigned one of the Winx. And I feel like here I understand that they probably want to maximize distribution across the girls, that it wouldn't be just the 3 that they were pushing before, but I don't know, I'm just guessing here. I do enjoy the camera point of view where she's kind of adjusting the camera. I like that they are playing with that. I like that they did something with the eye, some kind of screen maybe in it or something like that. I'm not entirely sure what they're trying to show here. I'm assuming here, okay? It doesn't really stand out, and it is mostly because it's just purple athleisure with a little bit of green lighting up the edges of the garments. That's it. You know, I kind of feel similarly about Flora's outfit, where I think the outfit that they gave her for the reboot before this redesign, I actually preferred it more, and I still stand by that. I think that outfit suited her more and suited the girls more in general, to be honest. Let me know if you think the same or not, but this is kind of my take on it. I think Musa's transformation from the new transformations is probably one of my favorites, while at the same time I do have a few complaints about the rigging or about the animation. Again, the physics of this animation makes no sense sometimes. I think specifically where she's dancing right here, when she's doing the moonwalk, the anatomy, the physics of it all, it's a little wonky. I don't think it looks correct. Obviously, Winx have always had weird proportions. They've never been realistic, other things like that. But I think that this is specifically about the movement being kind of strange. At the same time, I think this atmosphere they created is pretty good. I really enjoyed the beginning. This weird bubble or this kind of flower or whatever that they burst through is a good idea. To me, Musa looks really cute. Her wings are pretty cute. And I think that they are not so over the top where there's nowhere else to go. Because the thing is, once again, whenever you start to overdo it with the first transformation with Magic Winx, you're kind of painting yourself into a corner, right? I think that's kind of the thing that I've talked about previously. Leaving a bit more or making the first transformation pretty but not as intricate is a really good idea, because you have so much more space and so much room to give them a new transformation and to make it look like it is an upgrade without having to worry about the next transformation looking ridiculous because it's just so overdone, right? I like her nails. Yeah, everyone was right when they were talking about the fact that they probably were inspired by Blackpink, their comeback with Pink Venom, like those first outfits, the teaser images. I definitely can see that that's what they were going for. It's going to depend on the context of the story and of the way that the entirety of the show feels, whether this outfit and this whole thing is actually going to work for me entirely, like, or if I'm gonna be like, why is the production not better here? Actually was really surprised to see and enjoyed seeing was, girl, is that the moon? Is that the moon in the background? Did they remember that Stella is actually the fairy of the sun and moon? Because that would be crazy good. I mean, because that was what made her more interesting. Like, her power is more interesting, because I feel like we have seen power of the sun utilized a lot, the mystical nature of moon mentioned and whatever, but never together. I think that was always what was kind of making her more interesting. By her, I mean her power is more like. But that's the thing with the hair, once again, is that I'm really confused about the physics of the hair. This is something I've noticed when we were looking at the trailer as well is that oftentimes the hair is moving in a really, really strange way. It's just a little bit too stiff, which I mean, it's totally cool to have the hair, for example, a bit too high up. That wouldn't be realistic, for example, but I think it's really strange how static it is. It's like in one piece, the pieces don't move separately from each other at all. And even though I understand that they're like curled in the same direction and they're basically kind of like one spiral type of deal, it should be moving independently. I do like the shot of her at the end. Wings look better in context than they did in the trailer because this looks more like stained glass than cheap plastic, but I wish it actually was glassy. Do you know what I mean? Like instead of those like really foily material that's kind of bluish in her wings, I wish it was blue tinted glass looking texture because I think it would have made it look a lot better, but that's just my opinion on it. I do enjoy thigh-high boots, a bit of a nod to her original outfit. Well, they're taller than her original outfit, but you know what I mean, like tall boots, a bit of a gradient. I don't really love that it's pink specifically as much as I enjoy that it's a gradient. It could have been silver, it could have been blue. I don't really give a fuck, to be honest. It would all work more or less. First and foremost, I think Aisha is also one of my favorites in terms of her transformation, except I don't love the amount of teal. Girl, give me green, because the whole, again, her powers were always more complex, the same way as Stella's were. It was never just water. It was Morphix. Honestly, they should have just left it at Morphix. I feel like people should just learn what Morphix is instead of trying to give it like an equivalent like water or waves. I do love the inclusion of water and waves in the transformation sequence, but I don't think that the outfit needs to be teal. It could have been green just as with the original. I also don't think that they always have to get rid of Morphix in the transformation. I do understand why they're doing it because I feel like water does look prettier than this blobby pink material, but I think that if you just put some glitter on it, right? Like if it's just glittery, it's not gonna look as gross as just Morphix does sometimes, especially when it's 3D. I think just making it glittery would have solved the issue. I do like her boots, I do like her outfit. I have seen that the hair is AI, like was stolen from basically an AI image, which is just fantastic. I do like what the hair looks like. It's cute. Don't like the use of AI in any IP, mostly because of how we're filming things, because we're filming on blue backgrounds with a lot of CGI, and that we're making animations in 3D. There's a lot of character and a lot of diversity in animation that's being kind of sucked out of the industry. So I think to me it's always gonna be already too artificial. Like 3D is already kind of pissing me off. I'm not a fan of 3D, you guys. I don't know what to tell you. Like I'm not a hater of it. I think it can be beautiful sometimes, but mostly I give a fuck more about an animation that has more of a stylistic choice, concept, a strong conceptual idea in terms of visuals, rather than variations on Pixar look. I love the socks. I do like the bodice. I think it's kind of cute. The best take on that pink Venom outfit inspiration that they have pulled from there, her wings are pretty. Nothing's gonna beat the original, unfortunately, just because, again, they were, how do I say this? Okay, and I'm gonna have to fucking bleep it out, but you get what I mean. Even when I was little, I enjoyed watching something that had more of an attitude, I guess. That might be just a personal preference, so I'm not going to be like subtracting points or some shit, but there's one thing that I enjoyed a lot in it, and it's actually this aerial shot. Yeah, that was cute as fuck. Like I can't lie. Like that was cute as shit. It reminds me of the live action Ariel. I don't know. That's actually really cute. I really enjoyed the lighting in it and the water, everything. When I saw it for the first time, I was like, oh, that's cute. Okay. Like, yeah, like you kind of killed it on that one, not gonna lie. But she very much does look like a fairy of water to me here. So yeah, I wish it was less water centric. Like have the ocean there, have her surf on it, but have some Morphix involved here or there, mayhaps. Yeah, the outfit, like, again, if that pink Venom photo shoot was a little bit outdated as well, to be honest, fashion wise, but I understand where they're going with this. There's some issues in terms of what this skirt, for example, looks like. What the hell is going on in this shot? I just don't understand. Again, the gravity in whichever program they're using is just a little bit out of whack here and there. They need to fix that. I do like the boots again. I like the gradient on them. I'm not that into her wings, but they're not bad, I guess. They're very much, what was that transformation? Mythics? It seems like a Mythics type of deal. That face she makes. You guys, like, we do need some diversity in shows and whatever, even in terms of cultural ideas of what is beautiful, what is cute, whatever. I cannot with European shit adopting American mannerisms and American aesthetic inclinations, because it just doesn't work that well. It like takes away some of the spark of the original Winx when you're doing this theater kid shit here, okay? Like East Coast theater kid shit. And if you are a theater kid from the East Coast, more power to you, girl. Even if you have mannerisms like that, at least it makes sense. This is the cultural context that you're in. Whenever I see Winx doing this shit, I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. Do I need to throw amaretto cherries at you guys? Do I need to pull out a tiramisu? I'm begging. The hair, her front two pieces of her hair, the back of her hair, it's like they're moving independently of each other, but together as a unit. So it's like there's only two pieces of hair on her head in terms of which ones are moving up or down. Basically, there should be a lot more dynamic movement in the hair at the back, especially. There's so much of that hair, and for some reason it's moving as one unit, as a piece. I have this piece of candy, okay? And it's kind of like moving together like this, as if it's one solid object that just has a few things at the bottom and a few things at the top maybe that move slightly differently and reflect the light a little bit differently at each point, right? When you're, changing the placement of it in front of the light source. Here we have this like weird thing where her hair, like all of those pieces of hair, like if I just even pick up my hair and just drop it, it's just really weird when it's like this instead of like this. Even when this were curled, like this piece was curled together, it's still not going to entirely fall together. You know what I mean? Like quite a few things that have issues with the gravity specifically. I hope they fix that, especially for transformations, because transformations, as we all know, they're consistently reused. I don't know what's up with the way that they're showing her powers. I hope this is not a thing that she's gonna be doing all the time, like flying around like a rocket, because I feel like it's taking away from her original idea of her powers being like the spark that started the universe kind of thing. Life force rather than fuel. Fuel and fire. It's devoid of European sensibilities, and I don't know who's working on it right now. I'm a little bit out of the loop, and there's definitely good ideas here. It feels like it's not phoned in, which is good. It shows me that maybe this season is going to be more, respectful to children's attention and time, not complete slop. The whole AI situation, the use of AI, everything is always going to be concerning. There's no real reason to automate everything. Maybe we shouldn't be making 300 fucking animations a year then, or a month. Maybe we should make one, but make it good, right? To those of you who are like, you're always gonna be a fan of the original more than anything else. Like, yeah, you're correct. Also, I'm an adult. Like, yeah, no shit. Of course, I'm gonna have more love for the show that I grew up with, that I watched when it was appropriate for my age, than a show that I'm evaluating as an adult in the arts now. Right? It's gonna be two different things. Let me know how you feel about it. If you are in the animation industry, what do you think of the quality? See you guys. Bye.